Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to this first stream that we are having for COB6. Have with me Rohan Gujral. Rohan, how are you?
Good, Sagar, good. How are you?
I'm very excited. Rohan, you are in the team Wazir-e-Vaibhav.
Correct.
And your team members are Vaibhav, yourself, Sapan and Gamer Fleet.
Perfect.
So how are you feeling? मतलब team, do you think that it is one of the strongest teams or you are the underdogs? कैसा लग रहा है?
यार मुझे आइडिया नहीं है यार मतलब वैभव तो आई नो इज अ गुड प्लेयर तो वैभव के लिए आई एम वेरी एंड सपन आल्सो आई नो इज वो काफी इंप्रूव हो गया एंड ही इज डूइंग वेरी गुड एंड गेमर फ्लीट का आई हैव नो आइडिया गेमर फ्लीट वाज इन ग्रुप डी ना हाँ तो गेमर फ्लीट इज मतलब देखना पापा व्हाटएवर आई मीन आई डोंट नो मच अबाउट कि कैसा रहेगा टीम का बट मतलब वैभव सीम वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक वैभव वाज लाइक हाँ हाँ एकदम फाड़ लेंगे हो जाएगा आई लाइक ठीक है वैभव से मेरी बात नहीं हुई उसने रात को मुझे कॉल किया था बट आज बात हो गई तो फिर देखेंगे कैसा है
I
बट
think
या
you
आई एम
are one
पम्प्ड
of
फॉर द आई एम
the
पम्प्ड फॉर द कंपटीशन कि मतलब ऐसे टाइम पे ग्रोथ होता है लाइक आई वाज टेलिंग यू अर्लियर आल्सो कि इसमें बिकॉज़ वी विल वर्क एज अ टीम एंड इसमें एक दूसरे के ऊपर भी प्रेशर है कि मतलब यू बेटर वर्क बिकॉज़ आई डोंट वांट टू लूज बिकॉज़ वो टीम
exactly
का वो एफर्ट है कि
exactly.
साले
So
तेरी वजह से
if
मुझे नहीं हारना है तो दैट्स अ गुड थिंग
team 2 point पे है and then you lose, then it becomes 2-2. So that
या
always, and
या
actually it's very critical. In fact, every player is equally important, whether you are in
यस
A group, B group, C group, because everyone has 1 point. So I completely agree, and I think your group is equally important, B
यप
group. And
यप
in your group is another player who is joining us right now, is Angad. And one of the games that will happen
हाँ
eventually in this tournament is between you and Angad. So,
व्हाट दिस कंपेटिटर हाँ इतनी जल्दी उठ गए आप
उठा दिया सागर भाई ने मैं वैसे उड़ जाता हूँ बेटी को स्कूल वूल लेके जा रहा होता तो मेरी तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आ जाती है
एक्चुअली मैंने उनको कल लिखा कि 10 बजे कैन वी डू इट, तो वो बोले हाँ श्योर। उनको ऑब्वियसली लगा 10 PM है।
हाँ मतलब मुझे लगा इतना टाइम समय के साथ रहते रहते सागर भाई को भी अब रात की आदत पड़ गई है
But yeah, so today we have like around an hour or so because Angad also has a flight to catch at 11:50.
11:30 I have to
11:30 you have to leave, right? Okay, so a few things that I want to do today is first solve a few positions, okay? And after that I want you guys to play a game against each other, जो 10-minute game है, and then we will analyze it. And also it is more to get to know you guys थोड़ा बहुत अभी क्या तुम्हारा what is your strength right now, because I think at different phases you are at different strengths, कितना practice किया है कितना नहीं, and then whenever time permits in this week we can work and get stronger for the tournament.
Done.
So let's start with the first position, and maybe not very tough. This one is white to play. हेलो चैट, वेलकम एवरीवन। ट्राई टू सॉल्व आप लोग भी कि वाइट क्या खेलना चाहिए ये पोजीशन में। एज
ये तो रुक टेक्स बिशप एट e6 फिर उसका रुक लेगा देन विद द बिशप यू कैन टेक द d5 पॉन
यार ये कैन यू कीप दैट स्टैंडर्ड मतलब वो कांस्टेंट वो व्हेन अंगद इज टॉकिंग वो वाला चला जाता है मेरा स्क्रीन
क्या?
अरे तो वो उस पे
उसको
पिन कर दे उसका
पिन।
हाँ वो कैसे करना है
ये क्या बूमर है तू, तेरे को अभी तक जूम यूज करना नहीं आया, तीन वेव्स निकल गई भाई।
हाँ भाई थोड़ा ये चेस के मामले में नहीं मैंने किया है पहले एक बार ये बट अभी मुझे
टॉप
याद
राइट
नहीं आ
पे
रहा
3 बटन है, 3 डॉट्स।
हाँ कर लिया मैंने कर
पिन
लिया
करना है।
नहीं मुझे पता था यहाँ पर कोई बटन है कुछ करना है बट वो हाँ अंगद इतनी जल्दी बोल गए क्या करूँ मैं एनालाइज ही कर रहा था बैठ के उनका आ गया मूव।
नहीं मुझे पता नहीं सही है नहीं, बट अभी तो वही लग रहा है।
सो अंगद इज सेइंग कि ये मारना है बिशप and rook takes and bishop d5. And if you look at your, I think what is very important to look is your way of reaching a solution. ठीक है, your way of reaching a solution is that you are looking at the most forcing moves first. जैसे यहाँ पे I think your mind will go कि बिशप से ये पॉन आइदर मार दे या फिर रुक से ये बिशप को मार दे। ऐसा मूव रुक g6 does not come in your mind right now, correct, because I gave you this position, but in the game the first move that will come to your mind will not be this, it will be this one, because somehow game में हम वो तरह से सोचते नहीं है। So a very important thing is to look at always checks, captures and threats in any positions कि कहीं पे check है, कहीं पे कुछ मार सकते हैं. अगर कुछ मर रहा है तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है वो सोचना. But now Angad, you have told the move. Now let's try to go a little deeper, क्योंकि अगर आप रुक से बिशप मारते हो, वो रुक से रुक मारता है, आप बिशप से पॉन मारते हो, is that the end? Because then what will black do? Black will do something.
ब्लैक कैन वो किंग को b7 पे ला सकता है.
हाँ,
King
king को
को
आगे लाए.
b7 पे लाएगा, and then if you take the rook and then the king takes back, then in that position we have reached a bishop endgame with one extra pawn for yourself. I agree that that is a good in the end transaction, क्योंकि एक pawn बढ़ गया आपके पास, एक pawn ज्यादा है. But can you look a little bit more? This is a tough part of looking. So you took the bishop. Let's look at, visualize it carefully. Rook takes bishop, rook takes rook, bishop takes the pawn, king b7, king ऊपर आया. Now look at this position very clearly, like in your head. ऐसा होना चाहिए कि ये पोजीशन करंट पोजीशन है आपके दिमाग में, तो उसको वो लेके आओ एंड ट्राई टू थिंक फ्रॉम देयर कि क्या हो रहा है. यस, वंश अग्रवाल, यू आर राइट, वेरी नाइस.
मतलब I want to add basically one more attacker.
Very good. So whenever and Rohan, this is a very interesting point to remember. Rook takes bishop, rook takes rook, bishop takes king b7. So this formation here, जो bishop है यहाँ पर, rook है and king, is known as a pin, because it's in one line and it's an absolute pin because the rook cannot move. And there's a very golden rule: a pinned piece must be attacked, क्योंकि वो हिल नहीं सकता है. So you must attack. So as Angad says, he wants to introduce another attacker there.
Yeah. तो pawn आगे लोगे क्या?
हाँ वही होगा.
Which one?
b4.
b4. Okay. Now think from opponent's perspective कि आप b4 खेल चुके हो and your threat is, आपको क्या करना है b4 से?
मतलब उसके आगे b5 play
b5 करना है,
b5
correct? So your threat is b5. Now if you have to put yourself in black shoes. This is a very tough thing, but do it. कि now you are black suddenly in your head कि मैं कैसे बचाऊं खुद को,
क्योंकि वो
b6 वाला pawn आगे कर देगा क्या?
very interesting. So then what happens if he tries to play b5
वो तो
himself?
नहीं वो मार देगा.
वो तो a4 से मैं ले लेंगे, वो तो हो जाएगा.
Exactly. So that was a defensive attempt, but it is foiled by a takes b5 and rook anyway is hanging. Is there any defense?
I don't think so, because अगर वो e4 वाले pawn से भी लेगा तो मैं e3 वाले से ले लूंगा,
तो मार देगा बाद में.
Fantastic. So this is the correct solution. And after takes king b7, it is very important to find this move b4. ठीक है? So go deeper when you are thinking, and very important to think for the best moves for the opponent. ठीक है? This is very, very critical. Let's go to the next one. Now I want you to carefully look at this position, because here checks, captures, threats, correct? But also look at all the options for your opponent and see that you are winning in all lines.
ये तो रुक d8, किंग चाहे e7 जाए या a7 जाए, हम रुक को उस हिसाब से मूव कर लेंगे e8 और a8, क्योंकि knight is protecting them and knight is protected by the pawn.
c7 पे गया तो रुक c8 के बाद
c7 पे तो c7 पे तो हम c8, रुक c8.
Rohan, were you able to guess?
Yeah, I mean मुझे obvious वही दिखा, but मतलब I was like, हाँ, of course take the rook ahead d8 पे, but then I was like, हाँ, उसके आगे आएगा, then where does one go from there? That's what I was thinking.
So here is where things can get a bit tricky, because you give this check, ठीक है, ये mate हो गया. Now this is where in your mind this was a relatively easier position, but दो ऑप्शन है, किंग यहाँ और किंग यहाँ. तो अपन क्या हो जाता है कि we start getting confused in such positions. So you need to jot down the possibilities. So I always say कि when you are calculating, you are like a soldier who is entering enemy territory, but you don't know whether the bullet will come from right or left. So you have to keep on constantly looking at both sides. ये भी है, ये भी है, इसको मैं क्या करूंगा, इसको क्या करूंगा. So king a7, checkmate.
Rook 8.
And king c7, rook c8. Okay, very good. Let's go to the next one. This one is black to play. White का king यहां तक आ गया, and this is a very important situation, क्योंकि बहुत बार आप अटैक करके किंग को बाहर तो निकालते हो, पर क्या आप गेम फिनिश कर सकते हो?
नहीं, क्वीन से चेक दिया and then when the queen थोड़ा आगे.
Now try to think whatever
Queen
move
से
you
c5,
have
queen
in
से
your
c5.
head. Now think what white will do. Don't. This is what you have to build
White
up the
can go
stamina.
only one place, right? He can go b8,
8.
and then you bring the queen ahead on b6. So mate.
Very good, excellent. So this was a mate in 2, and check and
e8,
mate, because this queen is the killer and this bishop is the watchman. If you look at it, it takes care of these squares here, ye bishop. So it is the watchman. Also the king is taking care of this square. Black to play. So if you look at this position, it is very complicated. मतलब बहुत सारी चीजें हो रही है. ये मर रहा है, then ये पिन है यहाँ पर, but इसमें ऐसा है कि even white is attacking, black is also attacking. It's a complete mess. What are the moves that come to your mind?
एक
मैं
तो
रुक
आता
से
है कि
अटैक करने का सोच रहा था.
हाँ मैं भी वही
रुक
रुक
से पिन
G4.
करने का सोच रहा था.
हाँ, very interesting. Rook से, if he moves his king, then you win the, actually then you win the queen at the very least. But what will he do?
वो अपना
will-
बिशप लाएगा.
बिशप लाएगा.
Then
दूसरा मैं सोच रहा था कि E5 पॉन से चेक दें, बट देन द नाइट कैन आल्सो कैप्चर इट, एंड नाइट
C5,
कैप्चर कर, या
right,
एंड नाइट कैप्चर विल कम विद द चेक.
exactly.
वहां कुछ बन नहीं रहा है.
And then if you take back with
आई
the
टेक विद माय बिशप, फिर वो क्वीन से ले लेगा.
right.
बट व्हाट डज, मतलब नाइट मूव होने की वजह से क्या होगा कि मेरा D2 वाला स्क्वायर खाली हो जाएगा
Very good.
फॉर माय क्वीन टू गो ओवर देयर एंड गिव चेक.
Correct.
दैट कैन बी प्रोटेक्टेड बाय द रुक अगेन.
But then does that win you material?
नहीं, इट डजंट. वो रुक को वापस लाके ब्लॉक कर सकता है ना,
Correct.
एंड वो परपेचुअल हो जाएगा फिर, क्योंकि मैं इधर जाके चेक दूंगा, वो वहां से भी ब्लॉक कर देगा.
So if you play this, oh sorry, I was just making a ये खेला तो knight से bishop से मारा queen से, and then queen d2, there is rook d3.
What
और
if
अगर
we
मैं
move the- what if we move the bishop, ये e7 वाला bishop to g5?
हाँ, very interesting. But if you think about it, Rohan, you have to first think of checks, captures and threats. क्योंकि अगर आप bishop g5 खेलते हो, you're giving a threat, but it gives white the move. So what will white do then if he gets the move?
वो क्वीन को लाएगा at e6.
हाँ, he will bring it queen here,
Yeah,
or he
but-
might take this. Okay, that is
Right,
defended, but at
right.
least queen c6.
So checks capture and threats का पहले.
हाँ, I think the first move is आपने रुक move करा, bishop आया protect करने के लिए.
So rook g4 is one idea. Then bishop comes back.
Then check कहीं और से तो सिर्फ bishop से ही आएगा.
आर्यन परिदा, आप जो मूव कह रहे हो, हाउ टू फिनिश इट फ्रॉम देयर आगे? So generally rook g4, bishop e4, and अब यहाँ पर we can think, is there some way in which we can, put him in difficulty?
में जो भी तरीका आ रहा है उसमें चेक और देकर नहीं आ रहा है मेरे दिमाग में. मतलब जो अगर मैं पॉन से उसके बाद भी चेक देता हूँ तो भी it can be
What if we bring
defended.
the rook first and then bring the bishop? E5, E7 वाला.
How?
मतलब पहले रुक लाया आप
यहाँ पर.
G4 पे, उसके बाद आप ये वाला बिशप ले आए.
अब
E7 वाला बिशप टू G5.
हाँ, but then he still goes queen c6
Queen
check,
ना.
अच्छा,
or
हाँ,
he
वो
goes
भी
knight
ठीक है.
c5 check.
Oh, right.
Can we keep the momentum going in this attack?
मतलब अब तो सिर्फ वो E5 वाला चेक ही है.
c5 you mean?
हाँ, sorry, C5 वो C.
But don't forget that there are always sacrificial possibilities. जैसे queen से rook
Yeah.
मर सकता है, rook
Yeah.
से bishop मर सकता है. You should even this bishop which you take, rook cannot take, it's pinned.
हाँ, actually
Yeah.
तो भूल ही गया. बड़ा उसका.
हाँ, ये मैं पहले सोच रहा था फिर ये क्यों रॉन्ग हो रहा था, लेकिन अच्छा हाँ नहीं सही तो है ये.
So this is now a little bit, let's say we look in this direction, rook takes bishop के direction.
Yeah, and
ठीक
then
है?
king takes
bishop forced, right? फिर
then we
फिर queen to H4 check. King जो भी जाएगा वो एक white square होगा. वहां से हम बिशप से अपने व्हाइट बिशप से दोबारा चेक दे सकते हैं एंड देन वी कैन गेट द क्वीन फॉर फ्री.
Now, just be sure, Angad, in your calculation. Now, king takes, queen h4. कहाँ पे जाना पड़ेगा उसको queen बचाने के लिए?
क्वीन बचाने के लिए परफेक्ट स्क्वायर तो उसके लिए होगा D3.
Only square.
अच्छा ये
हाँ,
And
ये
then,
करते हैं ना. अच्छा सॉरी,
D3 फिर आप बिशप को ले आओ F5 पे.
okay, very good. So now if he moves the king, you will take the queen. But वो क्या करेगा?
वो रुक से ब्लॉक करेगा.
Exactly. Now, is that good for you? Because look at the material. You are right now some material down. If you can't finish it off,
can we do this? इससे हमने रुक से मारा बिशप को. Then he brings the king ahead. Then we give from the bishop H3 to we bring to F5.
Okay, very interesting. Then he has
Then
only one square.
only उसको पीछे जाने की कोई जगह है. He'll go back the king.
Where? King d4.
Go back to D4.
Right.
And then we bring the queen front F4.
Okay.
And now he can only bring the rook in the front to defend. Now we take the rook.
Fantastic. Very
And
good.
now we have pinned him. वो queen भी pinned है.
So this was not easy. So ऐसा हुआ, Angad, you went in an interesting line. ठीक है? But you got a bit stuck there. Although you were very close. Rohan went to another line and somehow hit the gold. So what happens with good players is that they look at all the possibilities very quickly. तो यही स्पीड इंक्रीज करना जरूरी है, बिकॉज क्लियरली इफ आई गिव यू 2 hours फॉर दिस प्रॉब्लम यू विल सॉल्व इट, but if you get only 2 minutes, that is where the problem will come in the tournament. So that is why solving such positions is very important. Takes, king takes, and now यहां पे भी अपन कंफ्यूज हो गए, यहां से चेक दे, यहां से चेक दे. So it is a very important part of chess to look at the possibilities and quickly eliminate which are not working. So this is a mate now, because the bishop beautifully takes away these squares, this bishop takes away these squares, and this is a mate. Okay, before we go to a game, should we do one last position?
Yeah.
Okay, this one is black to play. इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड पोजीशन है यहाँ पर, बट एटलीस्ट तुम्हारे किंग पे इतना अटैक नहीं है. हाँ, विवस्वान दामले जी कह रहे हैं सागर फॉर जीएम. सागर भाई समय 2000 होने पे फिर यू हैव टू ट्राई. ऑल द बेस्ट टू रोहन एंड अंगद. अंगद भाई कभी खेलना हो प्रैक्टिस के लिए तो बताना.
डन ब्रो, डन.
ठीक है, मुझे क्यों इनविटेशन नहीं दिया उसने?
So what are the moves that come to your mind as something which is forcing? ठीक है, जैसे ऐसा मूव G6 वगैरह, ये सब is a little bit not very important right now, या किंग को मूव करना. So you need to look at some checks, जैसे ये, और you have to look at captures, or you have to look at threats.
तो सबसे पहले तो मेरे दिमाग में आया था मूविंग बिशप फ्रॉम B7 टू D5.
Very interesting.
बट वो अगेन क्वीन से प्रोटेक्टेड है ही.
Exactly, exactly.
तो कुछ टेंशन नहीं है.
Exactly.
दूसरा था इफ आई मूव माय पॉन टू E2.
C2, yes.
C2, सॉरी, ये C और E मेरे को थोड़े सेम से लग रहे हैं. C2 वो क्वीन से कैप्चर करता है, देन आई कैन मूव माय नाइट टू C3.
This is a very common error, yeah, which people make. Knight C3 पे डालोगे, you think this is pinned, but if he takes with the queen, then it won't be pinned, because if you take with the queen, वो knight unpin हो जाएगा. So C2, queen C2, knight C3 is you lose a piece there. So if you look at the material right now, it is white is pawn, it's all equal. 5 pawn है, दोनों के पास 4 पीस है, 2 रुक है और क्वीन है. So in a way you are not material down here. So अगर आपको कुछ पीस भी मिल जाता है तो that's a very good thing.
अरे ये क्या हो गया?
सॉरी, चला गया क्या?
आ गया.
Sorry.
चल गया वापस.
Yes, Vaibhav Shreyas, your idea is very interesting.
What if we bring the bishop? ये जो कौन सा वाला बिशप है, ये जो नीचे वाला बिशप है, व्हाइट वाला बिशप, B7 to D5.
हाँ, that is what Angad said, but that knight is defended.
उसके बाद हम, हाँ, then what?
Knight is defended ना उधर A2.
Right, but मैं उसको बोल रहा हूँ कि उसके बाद you move the pawn ahead.
हाँ, now think कि ओपोनेंट क्या करेगा. दिस इज द की पॉइंट. यू सेड मेरे अभी तुम्हारा आइडिया है कि पॉन पुश करेंगे या फिर नाइट को लेके आएंगे D4 पे. अगर यहाँ पे इफ यू सी बिशप यहाँ लाया उसके बाद you want to bring your knight here, attack the queen, maybe give a check, push the pawn. ठीक है, so you have all these ideas in your head. Now the important part is to think कि white क्या करेगा, क्योंकि white के पास मूव है और हम बहुत बार white का मूव सोचते ही नहीं, हम हमारी दुनिया में रहते कि हम ये करेंगे ये करेंगे ये करेंगे, and then boom, something happens and we lose. So if this white can't do a thing, then this is a decent move. But I would say there could be something more dangerous that you can immediately attack the opponent with.
मतलब एक और, अगर हम नाइट d4 लेके जाएंगे तो क्वीन अटैक पे है.
Very good.
But the queen will have to go या तो f पे या g2 पे.
हाँ,
नहीं, सिर्फ
पे तो
f2
नहीं
पे
जा सकते.
नहीं, सिर्फ f2 ही पे ही जा सकती है वो.
क्वीन f2 जा सकती है.
उसके बाद अगर मैं b3 पे लेके जाऊंगा नाइट को, तो वो चेक है, उसको फोर्स्ड अपने रुक से लेना पड़ेगा.
हाँ,
या फिर मैं जाके चेक दे सकता हूँ c2 पे, बट वो आराम से क्वीन कैप्चर कर लेगा.
करेक्ट. सो नाइट d4 खेला, वो क्वीन f2 जाएगा. अब ये पोजीशन को कामली माइंड में सोचो.
उसके बाद पॉन आगे लेंगे ना.
पॉन पुश, यस, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. यू नो, अगर आप दोनों, if you think about it, both of your possibilities, if we merge, you become a strong player. Yeah, because Angad finds usually the first move, Rohan generally finds second move. ऐसे, so you have to do it as one
so basically
person.
we have to do a new format, attack team format. एक मूव मेरा, एक मूव रोहन का, एक मूव मेरा, एक मूव रोहन.
ये हम गलत टीम में आ गए अंगद भाई. आपको मेरी टीम में होना था ना.
हम दोनों we both can't be in the same team. No, we are in the same category.
Yeah. So if you think about it, that you go knight d4 and queen f2 and then pawn c2, you have been able to attack his rook, threatening to queen, मतलब rook पूरा मर जाएगा for just a pawn. And secondly, your threat of bishop d5 now becomes a very real thing.
हाँ.
ठीक है. Okay, so before we go to the game, let me just show you something which is very inspiring. ठीक है. So अभी है ना, there is a tournament going on in Guwahati. It's India का बड़ा event है अभी जो चल रहा है. And वहां पर जो नेशनल चैंपियन है इंडिया की विमेन्स, दिव्या देशमुख, her rating is 2300 and she was playing against a 1300 opponent yesterday. ठीक है. So if you look at a 1300 opponent, he would be somewhere close to, I wouldn't say FIDE rating is same as online rating, but still there's a 1000 point gap. ठीक है. And plus Divya is very strong. Yeah, she's moving towards GM title, IM title and so on. But just look at how this guy managed to beat her. So what you have to do is guess his moves. ठीक है. जो मैं white के move करूंगा, you have to guess कि black क्या खेलना है, logical chess खेलना है. We'll just play like 20 odd moves, not full game, but you have to try and get out of the opening with a good position. So d4 खेला गया ये position में. I'll make the first move, so because there even d5 is a good move here. But Darsh उसका नाम है, Darsh went knight f6. ठीक है. So Divya now played bishop to g5. So already कुछ तो अलग हो गया है. It's called Trompowsky opening. तो क्या करोगे अब black से?
I would go for the regular opening. मैं d5 भी play करूंगा इस पे.
Very nice. And what would be your suggestion, Rohan?
I think d5 is a good move. I could also even threaten the bishop by taking the knight ahead.
Very interesting. So
e4.
This is possible, but always be careful when you are moving your same piece twice in the opening.
Yeah, risky.
But it is not bad because you are attacking a piece. ठीक है. So now if let's say I play bishop f4, what do you play?
d5.
Yes, very good. So controlling the center. नहीं तो बहुत बार क्या करेंगे लोग, like they will play something like knight वापस. That would be horrible. You are wasting time.
Yeah.
So Angad, your move was played d5. Very interesting. Now one question to both of you. In the game, Divya played e3. What if takes on f6? What will you take back?
मतलब मैं तो ई वाले पॉन से E7 से लूंगा,
क्यों?
क्योंकि फिर वो कैसलिंग का ऑप्शन दोनों साइड एग्जिस्ट करता है.
पर वो तो इससे भी रहेगा.
बट फिर मैं उस साइड कैसलिंग करूंगा तो मैंने अपना किंग खुले में कर दिया ना.
Correct. Okay. So that is one reason. But if you know, like if I take like this, now think about it. If I put my bishop here, okay, with the hope that someday I push the pawn, it will get active, and I castle, the king is not super weak. So here is something you need to come out from कि अगर मेरे pawn king के आगे doubled है या it is open, my king is weak is not always the case. Especially when your opponent doesn't have this bishop. If you see, he has lost this bishop.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's say if he plays here, I'm just making some moves and you castle, it is very difficult to attack this king because ये bishop को कोई आके exchange नहीं कर सकता. जैसे यहाँ पे अगर bishop रहता तो queen d2 और वो यहाँ आके exchange करता तो शायद king weak हो जाता. So don't be अंडर दिस की पॉन्स डबल हो गए तो मेरा किंग हमेशा वीक ही रहेगा. ओके, बट अगेन ट्राई टू थिंक, रोहन, व्हाट वुड यू टेक बैक विद द जी पॉन और द ई पॉन?
यार आई थिंक इसका अंगद का एनालिसिस राइट है कि मतलब दोनों के लिए खुल जाता है, बट मतलब डजंट इट मेक द सेंटर वीक कि इफ यू ओपन योर किंग isn't it left a little more open for checks?
Sure it is. But what did you get? A bishop in return for a knight, and secondly a very strong center. ठीक है? If when I get a pawn here, it means I have. And in chess, center control is very important. So
No,
here
I'm saying you have to obviously take.
No, but
I'm saying
when you take here, you have moved your central pawn away. So now you can't capture the center so easily. So
yeah,
that is the downside.
Right.
But on the upside of this move, you can move your bishop out very quickly ये side पे and castle, and your king will be safer. I agree. So both the moves are actually opening theory, and it depends on what your style is as a player. If you are a risky player, let's say you like to take risks, you will take this because there's a very important rule in chess for recapturing with pawn. Always capture towards the center. ठीक है? Suppose I'll just give you an example. जैसे e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5. Very typical opening which we play. Castles, bishop e3. I go bishop b6 and you take here. Now, what will you capture back with? C pawn or the a pawn?
A pawn.
Why?
Because moving towards the center. अभी आपने सीखा.
Exactly. And here it is a sort of a no-brainer because it also opens up the rook. But if even if it was not, this controls the center in a better way than taking with the c pawn, which actually gives up control over the central squares.
Yeah.
ठीक है? So very rightly said कि ये pawn से मारने से you are controlling towards the center, but this keeps your king slightly safer and gets your bishop out. So both choices are good. Okay, in the game she went e3. What do you play now? Vivaswan says, Rohan bhai, हम भी खेल लेंगे. अंगद भाई को direct invitation cause baby over represent.
क्या और
बेबी ओवर वो क्रिकेट स्ट्रीम करता हूँ. नाइट टू b6, मतलब मेरा तो नॉर्मल डेवलपमेंट.
c6 here.
c6, हाँ.
Okay, interesting. So this is his move here. And what is Rohan, your move?
Actually, knight to e4 still exists.
Very interesting. I mean, for sure. Knight e4 is same concept as Rohan had mentioned कि attack करो bishop को. Anything else? So right now, Angad, Rohan, you are like architects, ठीक है? In the sense that you have got a plot of land and you have to decide कि every room कैसा रहेगा, which means every piece कहाँ जाएगा. So if Angad you say knight here, it means you have just taken care of one room. उसके बाद आपके दूसरे पीसेस कहाँ जाएंगे वो भी सोचो, ठीक है. एंड फाइनली डज दैट गिव यू अ गुड हाउस टू लिव इन, या ऐसे हो जाएगा कि आपने रख तो दिया पर कोई कुछ कर नहीं रहा है. सो ट्राई टू थिंक इन अ लिटिल मोर ब्रॉडर सेंस कि कहां आपके पीसेस को डालना है. इट्स अ टफ थिंग. इट्स क्योंकि आप बोलोगे अरे नाइट मुझे क्या पता यहां अच्छा रहेगा या नाइट यहां अच्छा रहेगा या बिशप यहां अच्छा रहेगा कि यहां, यू डोंट नो वेदर दिस और दिस, बट a little bit of thought. And one of the most important things in chess is to control the center. जितना ज्यादा सेंटर कंट्रोल रहेगा उतना आपको अच्छा रहेगा.
मतलब सेंटर कंट्रोल के लिए तो आप e5 सोचोगे, बट when the pawn can capture then there's a double attack on the knight.
e5 is a free pawn, correct. So
हाँ.
in your head you said knight c6 I want to play e5.
हाँ.
अगर ये हो जाएगा तो it's very good, but what will white allow it?
नहीं, the white will move its bishop to b5.
Yes, but generally if I play a6, let's say here,
हाँ.
so and you get this, true your pawns are doubled, but giving up a bishop is always slightly, I would say, superior to knight if everything is equal. You know, मतलब अगर पोजीशन नॉर्मल है तो बिशप थोड़ा ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट रहता है, तो ऐसे ही नाइट के लिए देना ठीक नहीं है. तो हाउ टू स्टॉप e5? You will see that I ask you even opponents move with the same thing as your moves. This is very important in chess.
Pawn f4.
Okay, but remember
Then
piece
bishop
development. Try to develop a piece for your opponent also.
हाँ, फिर तो knight f3.
Exactly. And now you can think to yourself कि हाँ ये वाले पोजीशन में क्या मेरा आइडिया अब आगे बढ़ सकता है. कैन आई गो e5 anyway?
नहीं, अब तो वो ले लेगा ना तो.
हाँ. So then what is the way to proceed? So you see, आपने एक मूव सोचा. So what you are doing is you are thinking move by move. Don't do that. Try to think 2-3 moves ahead. अगर मैं यहां जाके ये खेलना चाहता हूं, वो उसने स्टॉप कर दिया, अब क्या करूंगा मैं? वो कहते हैं ना कि a bad plan is better than no plan, which doesn't make sense, I would say, truly. I mean, you should not make a bad plan, but at least here you are thinking before you are moving कि ऐसे ही नहीं खेल रहे हो. So what would be your move here?
मतलब वो दूसरा तरीका तो वो होता है कि पहले you move the pawn once to e6, take out your bishop, and then there is the option of again moving the pawn.
Okay, now talk to this bishop. It feels bad, right? कि ये बंद हो गया. ठीक है, बंद तो हो गया, पर आपने उसको बोला है कि देखो आगे जाके मैं ये करूंगा, तुमको आजादी मिलेगी. But what if it doesn't happen?
वो तो फिर लाइफ इज अनफेयर, क्या करें.
So this is what you have to be careful about in chess कि जो प्लान कर रहे हो वो करना है. And I know that many times you just play moves. You know, it's not like कि आपको कुछ करना है और anything. You just
ओपनिंग में तो नहीं सोचते.
हाँ, but ये अगर आप करोगे थोड़ा just, and that is why I'm not showing you theory, but I'm showing you this game to just show कि ये बंदे ने क्या किया. ठीक है. So what this guy did, and you will see a little anti-intuitive, मतलब थोड़ा अलग ही टाइप का. उसने ये नाइट को यहां रखा. ठीक है. दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज ये नाइट से उसने इसको डिफेंड किया. अब आप पूछोगे कि ये दो नाइट तो ठीक है एक दूसरे के साथ और ये बिशप भी निकल जाएगा, पर ये बिशप का क्या ऑन c8?
वो फिर वहां b6 से निकालेगा. b6 pawn move करेगा.
Correct. So if you see now the entire picture is clear. And how do you strike in the center with black? जैसे आपके एक पॉन तो है पर आपको और एक पॉन लाना है. सपोज ये नाइट f3 से ये पॉन को तो स्टॉप कर दिया उसने.
C wala pawn, C5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you understand, Angad, that your move knight c6 was actually blocking a very key pawn from hitting the center. And when you don't do that, आप cramped feel करते हो somehow. You know, it feels a little cramped. Whereas here, this move will let you free up because queen को यहाँ जगह मिलेगी बाहर निकलने के लिए. So knight f3. Now what do you do?
Now अपना C5.
Yes, very good move. c5 completely logical, but he played e6 here, which is also fine. Bishop d3. What do you do here?
Develop the bishop, F wala.
कहाँ?
Dark square.
E6 पे.
Sorry,
E6 पे.
d6 यहाँ पर
हाँ.
या e7?
मैं खुद गेम खेलूंगा तो मैं E7 पे रखूंगा क्योंकि I can save my pawns from doubling up.
But you already have your knight here.
हाँ, protecting actually तो वो
तो D6 पे रखेंगे ना.
Exactly. This is a very good move. Bishop d6. In the game, bishop e7 was played, which is slightly, you can say, conservative, but not a bad move. ठीक है. Knight bd2.
Now I will
H6 pawn अभी ले सकते हैं क्या?
Very interesting. Again, Rohan, try to remember if you are playing h6, is that going to help him or you? h6 move. ठीक है, it makes the threat दिया है. And you feel many times comfortable when you give a threat. I have seen this many times कि अगर आप किसी भी चीज को, जैसे यहां पर अगर आप चेक देते हो तो आपको एक कंफर्ट फील होता है अंदर से एक मूव के लिए, बिकॉज यू फील कि ओपोनेंट इज फोर्स्ड. But it is not always the case because after c3 you just wasted time. So you doing this now h6, is it going to help you in any way or is it waste of
मतलब
time?
अगर वो if he takes my knight, I
Yes.
can take from bishop and मेरा थोड़ा डेवलप हुआ ना bishop.
हाँ, आप बिशप से लोगे या यहाँ नाइट से लोगे?
नाइट से लूंगा तो
Knight से
फिर
लूंगा because ज्यादा डेवलप होगा. करेक्ट.
नहीं C5 वाला स्क्वायर फिर चला गया ना प्रोटेक्शन.
But
नहीं
ये
एक्चुअली
है
अब
ना,
नाइट
anyway
है.
this is there. So
Knight
in a
से
way both are okay. I would prefer the knight because knight then starts controlling even another key square in the center.
Yeah.
And so your move h6 here is a very decent move. मतलब not at all bad. Even if he goes back here, it has helped you in some way कि एक back rank mate end में नहीं होगा. You know, वो तो बहुत आगे की सोच है, but still. So here is good.
कौन सा mate?
Back rank.
बैक रैक.
आपको पता है वो? Like let's say for example, I do just to set up a position. It's a very simple ये position है suppose black to play. It's just a skeleton position.
इधर रुक आगे लेगा.
हाँ, and mate. So this is known as back rank mate. But imagine that white has this pawn here.
वैसे.
Then there will be no back rank mate.
Okay.
It is one of the, it might seem बहुत far fetched, but chess में बहुत बार
बहुत होता है.
back rank mate हो जाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि if you see
I mean इस वाली पोजीशन में सबसे बड़ा वरी ये था कि ब्लैक का किंग ही नहीं है तो बेचारा रुक क्या ही कर लेगा चेकमेट में. अपना किंग तो रजा ले.
वो खेलता है क्या गेम?
बट अगर समझो ये कर दो एंड फिर आप कैसल करते हो तो कहीं पे भी एंड में एक ओपन फाइल बच जाता है तो ये मेट नहीं होगा इजीली. ओके, इट्स गोइंग टू फार बट so h6 decent move suggestion, not at all bad. Anything else?
मतलब आई वुड नॉर्मली अदरवाइज अगर मेरा प्लान है कि व्हाइट बिशप को मुझे b7 पे रखना तो मैं वो डेवलपमेंट स्टार्ट कर दूंगा.
b6.
My pawn to b6.
Now what would you do first? Would you castle here? Would you hit the center or would you play b6?
First, I would play b6.
Why? Why would you give more importance to developing your piece than your king safety or hitting the center?
अभी इतना थ्रेट नहीं है कि मुझे कैस्लिंग अभी कभी करना है। दूसरा मेरा ये है कि अगर एक बार मेरा पीस डेवलप हो गया फिर मैं सेंटर पे अटैक कर रहा हूं तो आई एम ऑल सेट फॉर हिज काउंटर अटैक्स।
Right. It is very difficult here to kind of refute your point of view because all three moves are good. But generally, I would feel more comfortable to keep my king here because let's say after b6, somehow ये कभी इधर या knight comes here थोड़ा issue अगर हो सकता है, it does not actually. If I look at it very concretely, I have a bishop coming here, I'm controlling and I'm very safe. So in the game, castles is a good move. He played c5. Divya went c3, trying to keep her center ये, and इन्होंने castle किया इधर. अब इन्होंने h3 खेला. Her idea was कि कभी अगर bishop attack होगा तो मैं bishop को यहां लेके I can sit ऐसे just एक luft create किया h2 पे. And black now played. अब ये मूव जरा सोचते हैं यहाँ पे क्या खेलो. Black to play. Okay, b6 as you said rightly is one idea and very probable. Bishop b7 just double. और क्या मूव आता है आपके माइंड? और यहाँ पे what should black be aiming for in such a position?
बेसिकली उसके डार्क स्क्वायर बिशप को भगाना है एंड वो जिस भी स्क्वायर पे जाएगा यू वांट इट टू कैप्चर इट एट दैट.
बट इट इज इट इजी टू अचीव दैट?
मैंने एक्सचेंज में ही होगा, वो प्रोटेक्ट तो कर ही लेगा. मतलब
सो अभी अगर आप नाइट हिला दोगे कहीं पे, लेट्स से you go to such an extent like playing such a move, do you like it? Why not, Rohan?
Because it's under development. मतलब
Correct.
development करना है, हमको under development नहीं करना.
It is not even helping and ये exchange के बाद नाइट को वापस यहीं रखना है, so why to do it? Your bishop is also not bad. And remember one concept in chess, जहां पे central pawns रहते हैं वो कलर का बिशप यूजुअली खराब रहता है, दूसरा बिशप अच्छा रहता है because it has more freedom to move. So exchanging this might not be the best thing. Your bishop is anyway a good bishop.
Should we take the pawn ahead, वो c5 वाला, to make his bishop run away?
Okay, now think about that move. You push the pawn, where will he go?
He will go behind.
Where? This way or this way?
I think king की तरफ जाएगा.
I think c2.
Why c2? And
Because
why Rohan you think here?
मेरा c2 ये रीजन था कि कोई किंग कैसलिंग उस साइड है तो ही इज फेसिंग दैट साइड जहाँ पे किंग कैसल.
This beautiful diagonal, yeah, for the bishop, and I absolutely agree that this bishop would have more scope here.
Right.
And also when you play such a position, what have you done is you have made the center closed. ठीक है रोहन? If you look at here, the center is now fluidity जो थी, जैसे यहाँ पे tension.
अगर भाई give me 2 minutes, I'll come back.
Okay, sure.
आ गया.
So यहाँ पे जो tension है ये वो चला गया है. So what is the plan that white will have next here in order to gain some more space?
He'll get the pawn ahead.
Exactly. Which one?
e3.
E4. Correct. This move is something he will plan.
I said DA वाला, b3 वाला pawn.
Also a good idea. Both.
Yeah.
So this break or this break, both. So although your move again, it's a typical syndrome where आप अटैक कर रहे हो पर उसके बाद यू आर लाइक अरे यार क्यों कर दिया मैंने. तो ये अवॉइड करना है आपको टूर्नामेंट में. यू डोंट वांट टू मेक मूव्स जस्ट वही मूव पे अच्छा लगेगा.
Correct. Yeah, I think ऐसे मैं मूव बहुत करता हूँ कि बस लग गया हाँ कुछ कर दिया बट कुछ हुआ नहीं है.
It's like let's say you eat a chocolate, right? For that moment you feel energized, you feel good, but in the long run it messes with your diet plan or whatever. So c4 is a move like that.
Correct. ये तो मेरे को existential crisis दे रही है कि मैं क्या लाइफ में भी ऐसे कर रहा हूँ कि कुछ कर देता हूँ फिर आगे सोचता नहीं.
The thing is life imitates chess, yeah, and बहुत बार होता है ऐसा, आई एम नॉट सेइंग इट
अरे
हैपेंस
हाँ
ऑल द
यार, नहीं
टाइम।
मुझे लग रहा है मेरे बाकी के डिसीजन भी लग रहे हैं कि हाँ यार मैं तो कुछ कर देता हूँ ऐसे ही कुछ भी करके। हाँ भाई अभी लग रहा है, अच्छा लग रहा है, हाँ कर लेंगे।
So what if we move our dark square bishop to d6?
Yes, but is the bishop already okay here? What is your point of putting it here?
कि जब मैं h6 मूव करूंगा and if it moves this bishop to let's say f4,
He won't go here. I understand you want to take, but he
हाँ वो
goes
उधर
here.
जाएगा तो मैं अपना g वाला पॉन बढ़ाऊंगा, g5 करूंगा।
बट अभी तो आप बोल रहे थे मुझे मेरे किंग के आगे थोड़े पॉन्स आते हैं तो डर लगता
ये
है।
पॉन है, खाली नहीं हुआ है, पॉन है, पॉन h6 वाला पॉन उसको बचा भी रहा है।
और मैं मार दिया इधर 2 पॉन के लिए, लाइक लेट्स से दिस वे, से आई मे बी विद द क्वीन हियर, यू डू दिस दिस दिस, आर यू नॉट अ बिट स्कैर्ड अबाउट योर किंग बीइंग अ लिटिल ओपन?
बहुत ज्यादा स्केर्ड, इसलिए मैं फटाफट अपनी क्वीन ले जाऊंगा उस साइड, किंग के आसपास ही रहेगी अब क्वीन उसको बचाने के लिए।
Correct. So this plan which you have is a plan which came to your mind. Okay, now look, if this is a game, it came to your mind. Now you have a choice because you know that it is an uncomfortable situation you will land into at some point. Why not think of a better plan right now? Oops, sorry. ये गलती से। Which is the break in the center you want to take to get more space?
क्या?
Hmm?
What if we just do pawn e5?
But right now e5 is
बट अभी तो
controlled twice, and you have only one control, so it may
उसके
make
लिए और
sense
कंट्रोल अगर
to get one more control. How do you
तो
know?
क्वीन को लेंगे क्या वहां पर?
Very good.
c7.
This is what he played in the game. His plan is कि मैं push करूंगा at the right time. So Divya castled, and now look how he is keeping his cards intact. Actually this move has another point कि white knight यहाँ पे आके f4 करके center में बैठ नहीं सकता. So queen c7 stops that because he will lose a pawn. So that's the reason why castle हुआ, and now he played b6, putting his bishop here, a4, bishop b7, queen e2, and he pushed the bishop. So सब कुछ जो आप लोगों ने सोचा था वो किया उसने, but look at his position, so harmonious. ये center में control, rooks are connected. This is how opening play should be. If you are able to take care of all your pieces, your opening is successful. Suppose वो यहां गया, अब वो यहां गई, दिव्या, what do you play?
बिशप सामने लाएंगे क्या?
Yes, very good. Very good. You keep your control on this square. You don't move your queen away. Takes and takes, and he later on went on to win. Now that's a completely different matter. He got उन्होंने अच्छा खेला, but I just wanted to show you how playing a good opening is no rocket science. Yeah, it's just about making logical moves, caring for all your pieces, controlling the center. And I completely understand that sometimes you can give wrong emphasis to something कि हाँ यहाँ पे मुझे पीस डेवलप करना था बट सेंटर कंट्रोल वाज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट, सेंटर कंट्रोल करना था पर मैंने पीस डेवलप कर दिया. दैट इज excusable when you make such logical errors, but when you make some errors which are just wrong on surface, like आप साइड के पॉन चलाने लगे, या आप सेम पीस को 2 बार मूव करने लगे, या आपने सेंटर ब्रेक लिया ही नहीं, that you shouldn't do. So how about playing a game 10 minutes each against each other and trying to put into effect a few of the things that we learned today?
Let's go.
एक सेकंड अपना माउस लेके आता हूँ.
Maybe Angad, you can challenge him उनका आईडी पे.
Wait. रोहन तेरा आईडी क्या है?
I think वो गया है, he'll come. अंगद, आपको मैंने पूछा नहीं, आपको कैसा लग रहा है अपना टीम? यू आर इन जोएल, अंगद, निशांत, केनी.
हाँ मतलब प्रिटी स्ट्रॉन्ग टीम. वही है कि सी और डी का, डी स्पेसिफिकली कैटेगरी का कुछ आइडिया नहीं है कि what can happen. These guys are damn excited about Mechanical Pandey and Glamour Feed.
हाँ,
तो बिकॉज अब है क्या कि इसमें एवरी कैटेगरी इज इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट.
राइट, एब्सोल्युटली.
अगर आप ए में सारे मैचेस जीत जाओ और डी में सारे हार जाओ, एक्चुअली बराबर की बात हो.
Absolutely, yeah. Every category is equally important.
बट गुड चांस, मतलब सेमीज तक तो पहुंच जाना चाहिए. लेट्स सी उसके आगे.
Top four, yeah. Out of 6 teams, you have to finish in top 4 to reach the semis. Rohan, what is your ID?
बाजीगर खीरा.
अरे यार क्या रखता है बाजीगर खीरा.
हाँ.
KHEERA.
नहीं, BAAZI बाजीगर एंड KIRA.
KIRA. इसका लॉजिक है कुछ, रोहन?
इसका लॉजिक ये है कि भाई एक टाइम पे मेरे को एक शो बड़ा अच्छा लगता था, उसका नाम था डेथ नोट. उसमें वो कीरा होता है, वो मेन प्लेयर लाइट यागमी होता है, उसमें कीरा रहता है. वो वो कीरा मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता था, वो किलर रहता है. और बाजीगर, और मुझे शाहरुख खान की पिक्चर ही पसंद थी, तो मुझे जो जो पसंद था मैंने उसका नाम रख दिया भाई. अगली बार आईडी बनाऊंगा तो अंगद सागर रखूंगा नाम.
तू है अपने chess.com पे?
मैं वही खोल रहा हूँ.
Okay, we have few more minutes. By the way, till Rohan is setting it up, अंगद, एक क्वेश्चन है आपको. ये पोजीशन है आपके सामने, दिख रहा है आपको?
हाँ जी.
व्हाइट का लास्ट मूव था रुक D1.
हाँ भाई, मैंने खोल लिया.
ठीक है, व्हाइट को घुसना है 7th रैंक पे हमेशा. रोहन, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन अ रुक एंड गेम इज दैट अ रुक वांट्स टू रीच द 7th हेवन. इट्स कॉल्ड द 7th रैंक. ये पूरा कंट्रोल कर रहा. तो ब्लैक यहाँ पे थोड़ा क्लॉस्ट्रोफोबिक फील कर रहा है. ही इज नॉट एबल टू कंटेस्ट द ओनली ओपन फाइट. तो उसका रुक ने यहाँ पे क्या करना चाहिए आपके हिसाब से?
F7.
हाँ, बट अगर आप F7 जाओगे तो इट्स लाइक अ डिफेंसिव रोल. तो पहले हमेशा एक्टिव सोचो कि कुछ मैं एक्टिव कर सकता हूं. अगर नहीं तो F7 इज ओके. ठीक है, इट्स अ डिफेंसिव आइडिया. सॉरी, ये गेम हो गया इसके लिए. ये
वो तो अब नजर ही आ गया कहां.
करेक्ट, ठीक है. सो उन्होंने खेला मूव रुक F6 एंड दिस इज सच अ कूल मूव. एंड दिस शोज कि चेस में छोटी छोटी चीजें कितनी टू सॉल्व अ स्मॉल प्रॉब्लम. नाउ द थिंग इज ही वांट्स टू कम हियर, बट व्हाट विल हैपन इज दिस गाय विल कम हियर एंड अटैक दिस एंड डिफेंड दिस. सो उन्होंने ऐसे एक्टिवेट किया.
ये तो मैं नहीं गेस कर.
अटैक एंड डिफेंस.
इट्स अ क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग. एंड कभी भी आपको सिर्फ थोड़ा और मेहनत करना है, क्योंकि पहला मूव जो फर्स्ट इंस्टिंक्ट है is based on what you already know. It's your intuition and it will always suggest you some move, but if you look a little deeper you can find some good moves. Okay, let's go. आपका आईडी क्या है अंगद?
अंगद रान्याल.
Okay,
because I really love Angad Singh.
so you have to challenge him to a 10-minute game. आपको आया तो
भेजा. हम निकाल देना ईयरफोन्स.
हाँ, या मैं ही म्यूट कर दूंगा यहाँ पे. ओके, आई म्यूटेड माई सेल्फ गाइस. सो ये गेम देखते हैं. रोहन हैज प्लेड E4. Angad has played E5. Let me just put it from White's perspective. Knight F3, Knight C6. Okay. Knight comes out to C3. So Rohan has brought his knight out. Knight F6. And now, अगर आप देखोगे, they have developed the pieces. Okay, they have developed 4 knights controlling the center. Very nice. And he now plays D4. It's a good move. controlling the center. And Angad goes d6. He goes slightly passive here. And now Rohan can push the pawn to d5, gain more space, or he can bring his bishop out, or he can even think about taking on e5, when after d takes e5 he can take on d8 and black ka castle he can break. So these are the possibilities here. I like that Rohan is thinking here, but again, you have to manage your 10 minutes well. If you look at it, he has been thinking for close to a minute here, and this is not a position where there is something very tough to think of. You either put your bishop on c4. Also, can be interesting is to put the bishop to b5. As I said, you don't want to give up your bishop for just the knight, but in this particular case, you are increasing the pressure in the center. So that is the reason why. Yeah, very interesting. And Rohan does that. Very nice. And Angad plays instantly bishop d7. Now, this is, although Angad may not have thought of it, I think he has tactically saved his pawn here. A good move by Rohan. By the way, if d takes e5, you have knight takes e5. If bishop c6, bishop c6, de, then you can already take knight e4 in that position, because the bishop is also looking here. So उन्होंने d5 खेला and now knight went to d4. Oof. The question is, why is Angad moving so fast? Okay. What is the reason? And I'm going to tell him to stop moving so fast in general, because right now I just take, queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes. Okay, this is also a good move. Pawn takes and queen takes, pawn up. Now, Rohan, first take this. Okay, you can even take this. That is fine. But then when he takes on b5, unnecessarily your knight is a little bit sidelined. Okay, he took with the queen. That's fine, because he saw that this is defended. It's not a big problem. Bishop e7 was played. And now let's castle, or take, यहाँ पे मार दो और castle कर दो. Nice. Bishop to g5. h6 was played by Angad here. I would say that when the bishop is here, you have to constantly worry about tactics like knight d5, क्योंकि bishop e7 तो knight back. पर यहाँ पे knight d5 को I don't think it's great, because ये भी मर रहा है g7. So h6, and now please don't take this. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but if you take it, his bishop gets a beautiful diagonal. Bishop h4, very good, Rohan, very good. This is great play by Rohan. c6 by Angad. Okay. Now, can't we just take, pawn takes, and put the bishop back? takes, very good. He's taken. Now pawn takes. Okay, if you take with the bishop, yeah, this is a good move by Angad. But now let's put the bishop on this very nice diagonal. Also possible is bishop d3, I think, unless the queen is somehow getting trapped with c5. नहीं हो रहा है ना, because queen c4 तो है. But better is bishop c4. Also bishop e2 is good. Yes, and if you see, guys, c5 has been pushed almost instantly. Queen d3 I like very much, क्योंकि queen d3, just queen is in the center, can swing over here if needed. यहाँ पे डबल भी कर सकते हैं प्रेशर डालने के लिए. ओके, क्वीन d2 is also nice, but why not queen d3? It gives an additional option of swinging down the third rank. And Rohan has 4 minutes 37 seconds. He's played this game really well. The only time where I thought he used a lot of time was here, when he took 1 minute 25 seconds to play this move. But he found something nice, you know. I mean, natural is here, but he put it there. Come on, Rohan, you need to speed up. I know that 10 minutes is... Oh, he takes here. Wow, why? Why? What is the point? This impulsive decision making is what needs to be avoided. King takes. Okay, you got an important pawn. आपने castling भी break कर दिया अपने opponent का. You also are able to give a check, but look at this. He's just blocked it. So why did Rohan do this? It was this one एक check का, एक check. Even the point is, he didn't even have to play bishop e6. He could have even gone king f8. I mean, till now the play was very good, but after this now black is better. And let's see if Angad now can find rook here and then king g8 back. I mean, that's a good move. Also, another good move is rook b8. Very good, Angad. I think what Angad is good at in general is his, again, this, see, Rohan now has just lost the thread of the game. उन्होंने ये मार दिया, which was not so good. In fact, here, how about long castling? ये rook यहाँ पे with the threat of e5 would have been a nice idea, but he took check, king g8. And I think what Rohan is very attracted to in general is a one check. मतलब उनको अगर check दिखता है, he gets really excited. Now just bishop takes f6 looks very strong. Bishop f6, g f6, queen f6, or rook b8. Yeah, rook b8, fantastic move, fantastic. Just putting pressure here. Knight हिल नहीं सकता क्योंकि b2 मरेगा. We'll okay, again he moves the knight, and now this is hanging. You can even take with the rook, I believe, because after knight f6 queen से लेंगे और हम rook को protect करेंगे. So, oh, although knight f6, look at this, rook takes b2, knight f6, queen f6, and then can you see an interesting move there, guys? White to play. See, my calculation is rook takes b2, knight f6, queen f6. Yes, Ishpreet Singh, very good. Lakshya Singh, Alston Boaz, Aryan Kedia, Shubhankar Mishra, Kushan, Anish Parasnis, Prahlad Sen, Dhruv Ramani, Rakshit Singh, Ashish Kumar, Archit Sharma. So very good. All of you have found, many of you have found that idea, but Angad rightly takes here. The idea here was if you take rook b2, I go knight f6, queen f6 and e5, breaking coordination here. अगर क्वीन से मारा तो मैं क्वीन से क्वीन एक्सचेंज करके आपका रुक फ्री में ले लूंगा. So and now I think you have to go here, but then the other rook gets activated from this side. King d2 and now take this pawn on f2. Oh, he went and exchanged the queens, which is nice in a way. I mean, it's very logical when ahead in material exchange pieces. H takes g5. Rook b1, nice. Now I think you can even exchange the knight and then you can take this pawn. Yes, Venkatesh, as still bishop takes f7. Rohan was doing very well. And I think it's one of those things where we can today pinpoint a few of the mistakes that these players make. And it is very important to understand that everyone makes mistakes in chess. It's not like they are making mistakes that's very bad. Everyone does. The point is it's very difficult to sometimes locate the errors कि क्या गलतियां हो रही. यहाँ पर what I feel is that Rohan often likes to see a check. मतलब he is impulsive. एक मूव अगर उसको अच्छा दिखता है तो he does it, but he doesn't look further. As for Angad, he makes his moves very quickly, like sometimes, and he doesn't carefully assess all the options that he has. And these are very common errors. It's not like ये दोनों के problem कुछ अलग है and these are the problems which no one else has or something like that. These are very common issues. How to solve them is the question, and is it even possible to get them solved in 7 days so that they can be ready? So now you can see Angad is keeping complete control. He's making no mistakes. He has been very calm. Rook c4, cutting the king off so that king cannot come here and attack the bishop. Very good play. Shubhankar says after bishop takes b2, why not king b1? Well, yes, it's possible, but I was thinking like some deadly discovered check might come, although it's not, because all pieces are on light squares. It's not easy to give a discovered check which the bishop can then go and capture something, maybe a pawn, but he decided to go to d2, which looks more logical than going here. Now king c2. So careful, yeah, because this is hanging now. You can go rook g4. He went rook b4. Akshay says, I feel both Rohan and Angad have potential to play very strong if trained. I agree. I agree. In fact, I have always said that if you can train any player in general who has a willingness to improve for decent amount of time, they can improve. But it is a skill of a trainer as to how well he can do it. You know, पहले तो interest बनाना कि वो लोग practice करे. You know, there are many things there. Now check here. Takes on g2. and black won by time has been completed here, and good game. Hello.
Anji, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi guys. What are your thoughts of the game? Did you like the game that you played?
I think
I think I was taking too much time. मैं सोचने में बहुत टाइम लग रहा था.
Yeah, and anything else, Angad?
मुझे थोड़ा ओपनिंग पे लगा कि मेरा पोजीशन बहुत ही ज्यादा डिफेंसिव हो गया था. फिर उसने वो फ्री का मुझे बिशप लाके दे दिया.
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. रोहन, आपने वो क्यों किया रहेगा?
सर येलो मेरी तरफ से एक तोहफा.
कौन सा वाला?
जो तूने व्हाइट स्क्वायर वाला बिशप कैप्चर आके करा था, मुझे चेक दिया और मैंने आराम से कैप्चर कर लिया.
I'll show you 1 second. So ये वाला पोजीशन में why did you sacrifice your bishop here?
अरे हाँ, because again the problem was कि I thought कि अगर मैं इसको हटाऊंगा, can you go back? इसको वापस. I thought इस move में if I take my queen behind, there'll not be much offense left. So I thought कि I'll go there, I'll sacrifice, get his king out, prevent his castling, and offend, मतलब and attack.
So one of the most important things in chess is patience. ठीक है? And generally it is not about checkmate only. कि अगर आप अटैक करोगे तो ही जीत
पाओगे. I know this was a risky move. This was purely risky move.
But then there was not much that you got in return for it.
Yeah.
So if you
it was not a smart risky move. It was like a मुझे ये था कि मैं
मतलब it felt like कि टाइम कम हो रहा है तो ये मूव प्ले कर रहा है, अदरवाइज तो कुछ था नहीं.
मैं सोच रहा था, I thought on this move कि क्या करूं, because I know कि मतलब वहां पर जाकर चेक के बाद I also couldn't see much attack there, but मतलब मुझे था कि at least I'll prevent your castling. तो मुझे लगा if you do castling, I won't be able to reach you.
But Rohan, you are a pawn up, and that means a lot. So let's say, just for example, you go here. ठीक है? Let's say Angad castles. What is the patient move here? शांति से, मतलब कुछ जीतना नहीं है अपने को instantly. We don't want him to resign in 1 or 5 moves. We want to play another 20 moves. What is a logical move?
घोड़ा आगे लेना.
क्यों? First, bring all your pieces into the game.
Yeah. Castling?
Yes, why not? So what are you afraid of, Rohan? Is giving move to your opponent. आपको हमेशा डर लगता है कि मैं अगर ओपोनेंट को टाइम दूंगा तो वो कुछ तो ऐसा कर देंगे जो मैंने सोचा नहीं होगा.
Right.
Which you should not be afraid of.
Right.
क्योंकि अगर समझो ये पोजीशन ब्लैक के पास है, कैन अंगद डू एनीथिंग हियर? कैन ही अटैक यू?
No.
Can he do something? Maybe not. Say for example, he goes and attacks this. What do you do?
On push.
On ahead.
Yes. So here again, you are letting him do things, but many times, if you believe in your position, you can be calm. And slowly, let's say another now. Let's say he plays rook e8. What do you do here? So your initial instinct will be मार देता हूं कुछ, क्योंकि अगर मैं मारूंगा तो उसको एटलीस्ट रिस्पॉन्ड करना पड़ेगा मेरे को. करेक्ट? बट नाउ कर्ब योर इनिशियल इंस्टिंक्ट and make a move by which you are getting all your pieces together, making them work together.
So do we support the pawn with the rook?
Yes.
E1 wala.
Very interesting. One good move. Anything else? Where do the rooks belong? The rooks belong on open files. कोई भी फाइल अगर ओपन होगा जहां पे पॉन नहीं है उसके आगे, वहां पे रूक्स ज्यादा फ्री फील करेंगे.
E1.
So this move and your other rook can go here. So what are you doing here is you are bringing all your pieces together, and when you do that slowly, just because chess is a game like that, your opponent will crumble many times.
Yeah, he will give in to the pressure.
Yes, he will do something stupid rather than you. He'll be like, "Arey yaar, प्रेशर बन रहा है, मार देता हूं ये पॉन, क्योंकि अगर वो ये मारेगा तो मैं ये मारूंगा, फिर मेरा बच जाएगा, या फिर अगर वो ये मारेगा तो मैं ये मार दूंगा. बट नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन इज you will have your chance now. Let's say for example, take and rook e1, and suddenly this is pinned and you win the game. You didn't even have to do much.
Yeah.
He self-destructed because you kept the pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, so one, Rohan, very important for you is not to make forcing moves, ठीक है, when not required.
Yeah.
Secondly, don't take too much time. This is something which I cannot tell you कि हाँ अभी नहीं, जल्दी खेलो, क्योंकि फिर गलती करोगे. You need a little bit of practice.
वो थोड़ा खेल क्या हो जाएगा. Because I was actually trying to incorporate everything you said कि मतलब वो opening के time पे ना I was trying to एकदम सही से and do वो
You
stuff.
did it well. I think till move number 13, 12, great game. Just queen back and you have a good position. Let's talk about Angad here. Firstly, you play too fast in the opening. मतलब you just जो मुंह दिखा आप खेलते हो. So you calm down, slow down in the opening थोड़ा, because your clearly second phase of the game was excellent. एक बार एडवांटेज मिल गया, आपने छोड़ा ही नहीं उसको. बट जब ओपनिंग में से खराब पोजीशन आएगा कोई अच्छे प्लेयर के साथ, then you won't be able to recover. So maybe better is to slow down in the opening. Think here, what should you play as black? Why did you put your knight in the center ऐसे ही, and you took what?
वो actually I could already predict कि d5 आ रहा है. So when he was taking time, I was thinking of all the moves, and उसमें ऑप्शन ये बनता है कि अगर आप नाइट को उस पे ले जाओ a5 पे, तो वो बहुत ही ज्यादा डिफेंसिव पोजीशन है, या तुम उसको वापस अपने अंदर ले जाओ घर पे b8 पे,
और
actually you can also take it at b4. हाँ.
But then I'll kick you.
हाँ, kick you. हाँ, तो
then
फिर
you have to go to the side.
Or you take it to e7, but then my knight is sitting at home alone. उससे पूछना पड़ेगा ना भाई क्या चल रहा है
बिशप से.
बिशप से, सॉरी, हाँ, बिशप मुझसे बोलेगा.
But think a little more कि वो knight वहां पे, is that his permanent destination or it's just a stop in the route? Is there some other square where he can move to soon? Say in this position, you play this. Now let's say Rohan
captures,
takes,
फिर मैं pawn आगे बढ़ा के बेसिक,
and वो castle करता है. अब क्या कर सकते हैं?
मतलब मैं इस पोजीशन में तो pawn push ही करता हूँ c6.
कौन सा? नहीं, अब सोचो. Now the thing is, chess is very rich. ठीक है? Your first instinct is c6. ठीक है, मान लिया. But आप डेवलपमेंट में पीछे हो, आपके पीसेस निकले नहीं है बाहर, तो पोजीशन ओपन करने में कोई सेंस नहीं है. आप फिनिश योर डेवलपमेंट. सो व्हाट आर द टू गुड मूव्स दैट कम टू योर माइंड हियर? Rohan, you can also think black to play.
To
I can still castle.
Bishop निकालने के लिए he can move the g7 वाला pawn.
Very good. So he can play g6 here with the idea of bishop g7 and castle. Angad, do you agree that this is an interesting idea?
Actually, I never played this, so इसलिए मेरे को strike नहीं करता ये चीज.
हाँ, but आपको करना है now. See, whatever you are seeing, it is getting added to your repertoire of ideas.
Yeah,
definitely.
So you have to then think कि और क्या कर सकते हो यहाँ पे. Let's think of another possibility.
मतलब क्वीन साइड कैसलिंग तो कर ही सकते हैं.
Possible, but then you know, I feel a little scared here because आपके किंग के आसपास कोई भी पीस नहीं है. So I start attacking you. I first attack this, then I start pushing my pawns here, and you have again landed in a position where you are uncomfortable. Don't go there. Think and go to positions which are more comfortable for you. So one idea
I can
was,
move my knight to g6.
Fantastic. Yeah. And what's the plan? Think about all your pieces.
And then take the bishop out.
Yes.
And then castle. That's
absolutely. So suddenly your position is much more cohesive. You know. यहाँ पे castle कर दिया. फिर ये pawns ऐसे point कर रहे हैं. This is a very interesting concept. In the direction where the pawns point, you play in that side. So which pawn break should you aim for? Suppose I play.
Then I have to break for F7.
Absolutely right. So let's say I go bishop e3, bishop e7, queen d2. I'm just making some random moves. Castle. Now, what is the move that black should play?
Knight f6 to g4.
Yes, very good. This is a good move. Also possible knight h5. Idea is to go f5. And your position is excellent. So the move which you took exactly, let me also see how much time you took here. On knight d4, you took exactly 9 seconds over there, which is too less.
हाँ, but I had already thought of the options. वो actually वापस जाने का नहीं लेता. Definitely E7 is a better option. But मेरे दिमाग में E7 consider भी नहीं हुआ था actually.
हाँ. But I would suggest you, when you are playing ना, even though you have considered in opponent's time, जब आपका move हो तो थोड़ा time लीजिए. मतलब take your time. In fact, when Botvinnik was once told कि एक player बहुत fast moves करता है, तो उसने उसको एक advice दिया था कि what you do is you put your hands and sit on it. ताकि आपका हाथ immediately piece पे ना जाए. In this case, the mouse. You sit on it so that to remove your hand is an effort. Only when you are ready, you'd keep it. And that person was Kasparov, So that proved to be a very useful advice to him when he was young.
Okay.
तो आप भी अगर थोड़ा जल्दी जल्दी आपको मन होता है तो हाथ किधर रख दीजिए साइड पे, you know. Only when you decide, you make the move. Okay, I think Angad, it's 11:34. You have a plane to catch. Yes. Thank you so much for joining. And
thank you so much, Sagar bhai.
Thank you so much, Sagar bhai. Thank you so much.
अब देखो अब अगले सेशन में मिलेंगे 1400 रेटिंग के साथ. चलो.
Oh. Whenever you guys are free, maybe tomorrow, day after, please let's.
I am free, yaar. I don't want to play every day because ये बहुत beneficial है.
हाँ, but ये थोड़ा रात हो तो better है. दिन में I have father duties.
Sure. We can do it at evening also.
Done. Chalo. Bye, Rohan.
Bye. Angad. Rohan, I just wanted to give one more suggestion to you before we end today. Oops. So just I hope that the point which we were talking about impulsive moves.
Impulsive, I think that's the problem. कि मुझे है ना वही लगता है कि you're right, you're absolutely right. मतलब मैं शुरू में वो full curve किया, शुरू में openings में मैं कुछ बकवास नहीं कर रहा था, and then I knew कि this is a risky move, and again your thought only came to my mind कि मतलब what is ये मजे में कर दिया, but आगे होने क्या वाला है इससे. I just to avoid the castling I did it, and but it's not a very correct.
Some things you can't in chess. Some things are just in the board. मतलब आप उसको रोक नहीं सकते. So you have to have that limit in general. It's just like if a car can go till 120 ka speed, you can't go beyond that. So this is the same thing. Even here, if you look, this is still a playable. मतलब आपने already bishop दे दिया है, but आपके पास 2 pawn है bishop के लिए. Right. You have 2 pawns, and a bishop is worth 3 pawns, generally speaking. So it's like you are just 1 pawn down. So if you play carefully here, you can still fight back. But what did you do? You saw कि you want to give a check here. ठीक है? आपने देखा knight is controlling it. So the moment you saw that, you just went and took it.
Yeah.
And then when he took back and you gave a check, you got that kind of a feel कि हाँ मिल गया check. But when he went in, now you are like, okay, what did I gain?
Yeah.
Correct? So this is where आप ऐसे impulsive decisions को try to see how you can stop.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And I think if you take time, that would be good. But this is the tricky part of this format. That 10 minutes का ही game है. You know, that makes it tough. So if in general, if you have more time, you can curb it better.
I think क्या ना openings में मैंने बहुत time किया because opening मुझे आती नहीं है उतनी. तो अभी now that I'll play a little more ना, opening में थोड़ी समझ लेता हूँ 2-3, तो ओपनिंग एटलीस्ट थोड़ी फास्ट हो जाए, फिर मिड गेम में टाइम ले लूंगा तो चल जाएगा.
Correct. And here, when you were in this position, you took 1 minute 25 seconds to play bishop here, which is actually not, which is, I think, a great move.
But too much.
Yeah, you took time. Basically, if you could do this faster, it would be better.
Yeah.
This is
25
very
seconds
natural
for
move. Bishop c4 as well to castle. But again, I can't expect it कि आप अच्छा मूव भी ढूंढो, टाइम भी मत लो. अगर ये सब होता तो you would have been an excellent.
मैं ग्रुप ए में होता.
But you are doing as well as you can. So I think one at a time. The biggest problem is the impulsive moves that has to be covered.
वो तो मैं डेफिनेटली कवर करूंगा. एंड ओपनिंग्स का भी आई ट्राई टू मेक इट एज फास्ट, ताकि मिड गेम में अगर टाइम लगा भी तो इट विल बी वर्थ इट.
Sure. ठीक है रोहन. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sagar bhai. Thank you so much. Bye.
See you. Bye. Guys, that was Rohan Gujral and Angad Singh Ranyal. I hope कि आप लोगों को भी मजा आया होगा, कुछ नया सीखने मिला होगा. In fact, the main thing which I also want to point, like many of you have now become strong players, you know, because you've been following ChessBase India for quite some time. So you have become very strong. So in this particular case, what you can learn from such streams is how to assess कि ये जो player है, like Rohan है, Angad है, what is their mistakes that they are making and why are they making it? If you think about it a little deeper, you will realize that these are their issues and how to fix them. If you think on these lines, you will be able to help others, like आपके जो friends है who are weaker, you will be able to help them. This is a good way to think. And chess में changes लाना in something is very tough. It's like saying someone gets angry very often. So the natural thing is, अरे यार, you get angry. Like, you should not get angry. That solution is easy. Like I told Rohan right now, curb your instincts. It's a easy thing to say, but how will he do it? How will he not get angry? What are the ways in which he has to not get angry? Then the techniques come into the picture, where he has to, let's say if you're getting angry, you count numbers 1, 2, 3 when the anger comes, or you count reverse in that way. In the same way, when you make impulsive decisions on the chessboard, you have to first of all recognize कि हाँ मैं कर रहा हूँ ये, and then slowly curb them. Awareness is the first step towards improvement, and we will take more steps in the coming sessions towards it. But for now, I will take care. I will take your leave. Also, one very good news is that we are going to start the ChessBase India Club in Phoenix Market City, where we had the Simul of Amruta from this Saturday onwards. Every week, once a week, open to all. Nice place to come and play chess, to improve, to learn, to discuss, to analyze. This is what we will do there, and I think it will help to foster a very nice sort of a chess atmosphere in the city. And yeah, I think I will also stream with a few other players who are interested to improve and try to help them until COB gang war. But there's a tournament that's starting in Guwahati. All those who are interested in playing over the board chess, after Guwahati, there's a tournament in Delhi from 23rd to 31st of March. And then there is also a tournament in Ahmedabad. You can find all the information if you type ChessBase India calendar on Google or chessbase.in/calendar. वहाँ पे सारे circulars है with all the information. You can just make a call to the organizer and fix your entries there. Yes, CCT will also start from 19th, if I believe. Yes, Mohak and I will try to cover that as well with it taking part. So that's a nice thing there. Agad Matar's mailman says, what time does the club open? I am planning 5 to 7. That is the time I want to keep, 2 hours for start. No, Saurabh, the club has not opened. The first session will be on Saturday, and it will only be on Saturdays. You know, it won't be like a permanent thing here कि आप कभी भी जाओ. They will put up tables and all on Friday evening or something, or Friday night, and then on Saturday people can come and play. Okay, and take care, guys. COB Gang War is a nice initiative. It's going to bring in more people to play chess. Many of you who were playing actively but had kind of lost touch in the recent times can restart playing. And I'm glad that this is happening. As always, Samay comes up with innovative ideas, new ideas. That's very cool to see. Until then, I'll see you later, guys. Bye bye. Take care.